want to have the items we select over here. Maybe we should fix this actually. Maybe we should break this down slightly. Let's say we want to change to, well, first load the items we have on our right hand and our left hand. Okay, ignore the items for now. And we want to select from a pool of all the items of all the weapons we actually have. Okay, and we want to place them in here. So the first way to do this, of course, will be to load any items you have on your slots over here, on your right hand or left hand, to load them over here. Now, obviously, this now need to have a hook like the same slots we have over here, which they're going to be using the icon hook for image and so on and so on. Okay, so let's copy this slot entirely, and I'm going to drag and drop it below here. Then let's set this to 0, and let's see what should we be doing. So we have the icon, as we can see. It's a little bit bigger. Well, we don't need the text, and we actually don't even need the other buttons for now. So let's delete all of them. So we have our buttons, we have our right hand slot. Let me think. Yeah, so let's make this be 100 and 150. No. What scale do we have? Well, okay, maybe raise this like that. Lower that like this. Then on the button itself, we're going to edit this slightly, the navigation button. So we're going to remove this. We don't really need it. And we're also going to remove these two, and we're going to be using the methods that we have over here. Okay, we're going to use the events to do the changes. And I'm doing that because I want to keep it more modular, so we can reuse the same system for other types of games and so on. Okay, so we can rename this to slot. First of all, this is a button. We're not going to be using any buttons anymore for this. So this will be our slot. We can have some different value or whatever, and this is our icon. We can make this like that. Okay, this has a mask, it will show, and over here we're going to be having the item and the item hook. Okay, for now let's drop one of the source images, and let's just use one at random. Actually, we could set up this to native size. Okay, and let me think. Yeah, so now we need all the methods that we are using from here on select, on deselect, so what they're going to be doing. Now, I think I'm just going to take the base color of this and change the color to something like yellow, or, well, you know, have something like that. And alternatively, I could just add another image over here, which this will be our background, and I'm basically going to just copy this and add it at the same value to this one. Then on the slot, I'm going to have this no, we do need it open. Well, okay, we can just have it, this. Yeah, okay, scratch that. We have to keep this open. So that means we won't be using this. We need to use a highlighter image or something like that. Something that tells us we have this object selected. So I can just use this as highlighter. And then we can remove that. And we can have this be something like this, something yellow, doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to opening and closing this. On the icon as well, I'm also going to add a shadow to this. Maybe raise this like that, just so, yeah, no. Just so that it doesn't feel too sticking up to the background. Okay, so we have our icon, we don't need this one. And now, I'm just going to disable this. Actually, no, I don't like that idea either. We're just going to take this and change its color. Okay, and I didn't like that idea because we will end up with more objects than we need. So we kind of want to have some uniformity to this at least. So let's go to under icon hook for image, and then we're going to have a method for public void on select. And public void on deselect. So we're going to store the base color for this on select, and that will be from the target. Do we have the target image? What is the target image? Target image, no. Target image is the icon. So target image will be what we use for that. So that means we're going to create a new image, which will be the background image. Okay, and the background image, then we're going to be getting the color on deselect, and then background image dot color will have a highlight color. Let's just use color dot yellow for now, something like that. We can also store the color somewhere else and then get it back. Then when we deselect, we're going to basically moving this back to the base color. Okay, that makes the job slightly more easier because all we have to do now is just populate these two. So we have our target image, which is our own self, and we have, actually that is our target image, and that is our background image. Okay, which means on our button now, we can just add the onSelect on deselect from this, from the icon, I guess. Icon hook for image, onSelect, and icon hook for image on deselect. Okay, so making a couple of them, let's give them some spacing and hitting play. Let's see now. We can normally change. Awesome. So let's delete one of them. So we only have 4. We need to do the same thing for these objects as well, which means I'm just going to delete them and copy one of these and then drop them in here. Okay, so let's test this out now and how that will work. Okay, so I'm selecting one over here, selecting another one, but yeah, we have the wrong call for them, because in here we have to change that to UI Manager Open Inventory instead of Open Select Inventory. Okay, there we are. So as it seems, we have, and we are left back to the correct position as well, which is actually exactly what we wanted. Okay, awesome. So now we have to load the slots, and these slots now will have to target a slot inside our player manager. Or well, more precisely, these slots will have to target with their IDs, or either an instance ID or the actual item. They will have to be taken from the player controller. Okay, let's take a look. Well, we have one script that doesn't do anything, so let's delete that. And that's the all player controller actually. So delete it entirely. There's our player controller. So let's take a look at our inventory manager. Now, when we start, when we init, we get some values from the player profile. Okay, so we basically just take the consumables and the left and right items, we assign them the unarmed ones. Okay, then we are saying update references from profile, and what that's going to do, apart from the clothes, we're going to be saying that we're clearing the right hand weapons and left hand weapons, and then we create the items again from what we have on our profile. Okay, those arrays. So in a sense, all we have to do to reuse this method is target the IDs we have inside our player profile. So in a way, they are going to be decoupled, which is really what we want in this case as well. So let's see. Well, at first, we definitely know for sure that when you're selecting one of these slots, we need to keep track as to which slot of this we are actually aiming at. Okay, so let's see. We can add some extra behavior to this, so we can utilize one of them. Let's open the scripts, and inside our UI manager, is it? Yeah, it's the UI manager. Let's pin some of them in here now. So inside this, we could be passing, well, unfortunately we can only pass one method, but we can pass public void store slot, okay, for item, and we can pass an integer for which slot we are passing, index then, and we can also pass store slot hunt or slot type. I think slot type might make a little bit more sense, provided of course we do have slot types. So let's see. Let's select an item at first. I don't think we have something that tells us you have a slot type. Yeah, we don't have a slot type. We need to know if this is an item or the slot is based for an item or is based for a weapon. Well, okay, one problem at a time. Let's fix first if it's left or right. Okay, so that will be store slot hunt, and I'm going to say bool is left or is right. So let's create a region for this, handle item changing or selection. Okay, and I'm going to have an integer stored index, and I'm going to also have a bool is left hand or not. So is left hand is left, really simple, and store slot for item stored index equals index. Okay, open select item dialog, open inventory. So when you are setting, instead of setting this, well, we're still going to use that, but first we're going to have public void add item on slot. Okay, or add item on stored slot. Yeah, actually, ignore all of this, because we could just say public void set or store icon slot or store slot right away, and that will be store slot. Let's see, for our slots we're using not a navigation button, don't really need the navigation button. I want the icon hook for image. How do we call that? yeah, icon hook for image, it's going to be the definitive script we're using. We can change it, of course, but whatever. What is the name, I mean. Icon hook for image. Okay, target slot. So we have a store slot and we have the target slot. Then it means we can save this our stored slot. Stored slot will be target slot. Okay, then I can have a replace item on stored slot here, and I'm going to have icon hook for image, replace slot, and then on the target slot or the store slot we have actually, well, it's up to us now how we're going to handle that. For right now I'm just going to change the icon and nothing else. Let's see, we have the background image, we have the icon, we don't have the icon. Let's make the, no, we do have the icon. It's called target image. Okay, of course we can also replace the item, but for now I'm just going to say replace image target item, replace slot target item, target image dot, well, we can just get one sprite from the other for now. Okay, then we can say store slot target item equals replace slot dot target item, and with that we're going to have all the references we need for we're basically going to be replacing from one slot to the other, and for that later we're going to change it and we're going to encapsulate a little bit more logic to that. But let's see how this will work. First of all, I'm going to delete the other buttons for now because we don't need them and we don't have to set them up every time. So whenever you press now the icon on apply, which is what we have over here, I'm going to make going to pass the UI manager again, and I'm actually going to pass on the UI manager the same value, which will be open select item dialog. But first, before you select that, I'm going to have the store slot, and I'm going to just drag and drop the icon hook for image we have down here. Okay, so now if I duplicate it 4 times, each buttons will actually target their own icon slot. So we're going to have to do the same thing for the other buttons, but let's actually give them some spacing as well. And yeah, as I was saying, we're going to have to do the same thing, but open inventory, we're going to do that again, but we're going to also say replace item on store slot from this slot. Okay, and here's what else I'm going to do. I'm actually going to just change the image from a samurai chest to the pants or whatever. Okay, so if we hit play now, we should be able to switch the sprites. Okay, yeah, it would be better if we had more, of course. And let's change one. Let's change it to something else. Let's change this to this. Let's change this to something that we can see actually. Okay, let's hit play. Let's select something. Okay, I can select that. I can select something else, and so on and so on. And we can do whatever we want with this. Of course, what we are doing, we're not really checking how many times we've added the same item. So that's going to be something we have to manage, but that's really simple. That's pretty simple to worry about right now. But yeah, you can get the idea that we can see and we can basically change without really much of an effort without really this being a problem, how easily we can change the items, the icons and all that. So we just have to target then, which I think we're just going to do on the next part. We're going to target the buttons to target on directly on the profile without talking to the player controller or anything like that. So that's it for this part. As always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff, more videos, more series, more of everything, then consider supporting me on Patreon so we can keep making all of these nice things we're making. I'll see you next time.